We're going to be comparing Airtable to Stackby. You'll learn 3 things. Number 1, the features. Number 2, the pricing. And number 3, the use cases. And at the end of the video, I'm going to show which one I would choose. Airtable is a platform where you can construct a database to really create anything you want in your business. If you're a solo entrepreneur or a large business or even a marketing team, it's pretty endless the way that you can manipulate the data and the visuals found in Airtable. From forms to Kanbans, the list goes on and on. Airtable allows you to do this. If you feel overwhelmed, they have a full template section that allows you to have the best case scenario for what you want to create and to get started. Now, Stackby is a platform that, again, it works as a spreadsheet or a database, but it's super powered. One of the main things I would focus on with Stackby, in the columns, just the way that you can use APIs and the different automation, I think that allows Stackby to stand on its own. And so when we're looking at this, I think this looks very similar to Airtable or Google Sheets, et cetera, et cetera. When you're looking at a spreadsheet or a database, they all pretty much look the same, but the power with Stackby is really in how it does the automation and API connections. Let's go back to Airtable for a moment. One of the things that stand out would be the integration with all the different types of apps that you're already using. Slack, Gmail, the list goes on and on. If you're looking for automation, Airtable also allows you to do this. And again, I don't want to go too deep into this because it depends on the exact thing that you're trying to accomplish in your business or how you're going to be using this database. But I would first write it out because Airtable can do quite a bit of automation. So that's important to note. Another facet of this platform that I like, I'm always worried about syncing or how fast it can do it. It syncs so quickly. Your team will be able to move quickly with all of these changes. One of the unique parts of Airtable would be the marketplace. This allows you to find additional things that you can add to your Airtable base to take your database to the next level. For example, if I'm going to be importing CSV files, different org charts, base schema, send grid, if I'm doing something with the CRM, the list goes on and on. There's a lot of different apps that you can be bringing into your Airtable base that makes it even more robust. When I'm looking at Stackby, what I think that Stackby really shines as they're focusing on marketing stacks and focusing on marketing teams. For example, if we're looking at what could be possible working with marketing, we can be tracking SEO and content, marketing campaigns, videos, marketing analytics, and now you're going to have an end-to-end solution. Instead of being in the dashboard for Facebook ads and doing stuff and trying to find all of these other platforms or logging in, it allows you to integrate in Stackby, and your team will be able to have all on one dashboard what's going on, what's working, what's not working. And this is really where they're making a priority with a database, with this integration, all of those things. There's a section, the Stackby Power-Ups. This is pretty interesting. It's very specific use cases why I would be using this platform. But again, depending if I'm trying to import, share, data recovery, data transformation, automation, all of those things, this section is really interesting to me, and it keeps growing. If you look at their roadmap, they have a lot of very specific niche cases, specifically in marketing, that this platform is really trying to corner the market on. Let's look at pricing. With Airtable, you can start for free. You have unlimited bases, 1,200 records per base, 2 gigs of attachments per base, and grid, calendar, Kanban, form, and gallery views. You can do a lot with this. If I want to start creating forms to get signups and then put them in a database, I can do all that for free. And 1,200 rows, that's really good. If you're looking at something like Glide or something, although it's very different, Glide is doing something totally different. That one's looking at 500 rows for free. We're looking at 1,200 rows for the free plan for Airtable. If we go to the $10 a month plan, we now have 5,000 rows of data, 5 gig for attachments per base, 6-month revision and snapshot history. That's really good as well. If you need to make sure that you're keeping records or being able to refer back to what's been happening, that's really good as well. And 1 synced table per base. Automatic table syncing. I like that. So automatic table syncing, I would want that as anything going forward. So I would be starting at the $10 a month plan without question. For the Pro plan, I'm getting something that jumps out to me: personal and locked views, field and table editing permissions. If I'm creating a subscription business, such as like Get Cyber Leads, they're giving you access to a Airtable base, or they did at one time. With that, you could be doing this with the Pro view. You're paying $20 a month, but if I'm basically selling a subscription to all of my data or parts of it, $20, I wouldn't scale up unless I'm getting paid or do something like that. So the Pro version, I would probably do it if I'm making a nano SaaS or something like that, or I'm selling a subscription to the data where they get access to looking at my Airtable base. To note, if we look at the $20 a month plan, that's where we get access to all of the apps as well: chart, scripting, pivot table, page designer. Again, depending on what you're trying to do with your business, Pro might be the level that you need to start at. But again, review what you need for your project or business before deciding on what level you need to be at. Looking at Stackby's pricing, starts at free. Users unlimited, guests unlimited, stacks. And stack would be a database or collection tables to add to your workplace. Okay, you have 10 stacks, 1,000 rows. So it's pretty competitive, right? So Airtable was 1,200. We have 1,000 here. Attachment is 2 gigs. Okay, so it's about the same. Revision history. Okay, for free, it already gives you revision history up to 2 weeks for the free plan. So that is a difference right there. 25 unique column types. This is important, again, depending on what you're trying to create. I'm going to go back into the use cases. This could be a make or break depending on what you're trying to create in your database. Once we get to the API packs, I think this also sets it apart as well. Depending on what you're trying to do, again, Stackby, I think they hang their hat on what they can do with automation and APIs in the different columns. That's where they're really making the differentiation in the market. I think this is something to look at. When it's looking at what it does with the power of the API, all of those different things, really depends on what you're trying to do in your business. For the use cases, Airtable has so many. I would really want you to think about, like, what are you using it for? Marketing, product, HR, sales, finance, operations. Airtable allows you to do so much. I would say it's more going horizontal in different areas of how it can help you and your team. To not feel overwhelmed, I would first write down, like, where are you in your business? Are you in HR, in operations? What's going on? That allows you to then decide how Airtable can be constructed that works for you. There are tons of videos that will go deep on how you can use Airtable for different use cases. What I would ask you to do is write down or put in the comment section, how do you plan on using this? And then see if it works for your workflow. If you're doing inventory management, vendor management, there are tons of examples. For us personally, the reason we love Airtable, we use Softer quite a bit. We're creating MVPs, and a lot of our students and our clients, we use Softer. They integrate their backend, their database, they're using Airtable. So we use it quite a bit. With Softer, it's taking it up another notch. There's tons of other videos that we've talked about Softer, but essentially, if I need to create a marketplace, client portals, all those things, I'm using the power of Airtable, and then I'm using Softer. One more thing to note, if you're using something like Monday.com and you're trying to schedule either what's going on with your team, task management, all those things, Airtable can do it. What I would really focus on, what is your workflow? So many times people are like, well, is this better than this? It depends. There's a lot of things that ride on your workflow, what's going on with your team, what's the most important key performance indicators, the benchmarks, how do you want to interact with that information? That's what's going to make or break if you should be using Airtable over Monday.com, or what are you doing? Again, Monday.com has its very specific use case. Airtable can do a little bit of everything, though. Just keep that in mind. Now we're going to go over to Stackby, because just like I said that Airtable can do a little bit of everything, Stackby really is focused on helping marketing teams and product to get to certain solutions. For example, it's trying to be end-to-end to help a very specific team. So if you're in marketing, instead of going into Asana and doing all of these things, or in Basecamp, and then you have to connect it with Zapier, and then you have to connect it with Google Sheets, it's doing everything end-to-end to make sure that marketing team has everything they need all in one place. Plain and simple, Stackby helps you become organized for a marketing team. If you look at the templates, it can do a lot of other things with its pre-built templates. It can go into advertising, local business, marketing, nonprofit, all of those things. The thing that really stood out to me was how I could be using it for content and what we do with YouTube. Let's look at how we're using Airtable. For the most part, we're using it as the database or the backend when we're using our no-code projects. That includes if we're using Pori or Softer, we're going to be using Airtable exclusively. Again, like I mentioned before, especially when we're building out different client portals or marketplaces, the entire backend is powered by Airtable. Another example how people are using the power of Airtable, if we look at getcyberleads.com, they're delivering 1,000 handpicked companies that just raised millions and looking to outsource. It allows you to gain access to this database. They're using Airtable. And this business has really been growing in the last year or so. And again, they're just using Airtable to do all of this, the heavy lifting. They're charging $99 a month or yearly $5.99. I was looking at Stackby. I've had the chance to take a look at how to use it over time. Where it really shines is the intricacies that you can have in the columns and what you can do with APIs and your data if you're using Instagram, Facebook, so many different social media platforms that you need to get very specific data to make good decisions with your team. I think that's where it really shines. For example, when I'm bringing in data from YouTube, when I've been trying to use Google Data Studio, for example, there's a lot of restrictions still using that. Although it is a Google product and you should be able to do anything you want with your YouTube analytics, a lot of times I can't pull out all of the data that I want. When I'm connecting my YouTube analytics for the channel views and what's going on with my account, I can then go into the column, connect the data, and pull out exactly what I need. For example, this is overall what's happening with the channel. But another example, when I'm looking at very specific data points from a specific video, I can have this line by line. It can be pulling the view count, the comments, the title, the descriptions, the number of likes, and I can just go on and on. I can also pull out which tags I was using for that video. It's pretty astounding. Not only that, if I want to do it automatically, I can set it to pull all the data automatically. I can create an automation to do that. So if I want to, I could set up Zapier to bring in this data into the database every single time there's a new video, and then I can have the automation to automatically pull and refresh what's going on with the video every single day or week, so I can be updated what's going on with the comments, the likes, anything that I want. After reviewing Airtable and Stackby, which one would I choose? I'm going to be choosing, it depends. It depends on what you're trying to create, honestly. Stackby is really good if you're a marketing team, you have very specific workflows, you need different automations to happen. That's where it excels. Can it do everything that Airtable can do? No, but it's not trying to be. On the flip side, Airtable has a lot of unique possibilities. For example, it integrates with things like Softer. We use Softer quite a bit when we're creating MVPs or creating the first version of different platforms or client portals. We do that a lot, and that integrates so well and it's so quick. Also, when we're looking at how the marketplace and the scripts are coming along, that's a really unique proposition of not only utilizing those different tools, but if I'm trying to get an edge or I'm trying to create a side hustle or start selling scripts or thinking about a nano SaaS idea, I can be in front of millions of people per month. It's giving you this inclusive opportunity to hit your target demographic right there. In the comment section down below, let me know what you're working on, what kind of things that you need for your project.